Hello to everybody, hope you're doing and feeling well, and if you're stuck at home, might as well learn something new, so stick around. In the previous video I showed you how you can make a simple web app with Flask. We've used this package in order to make a simple RESTful API to interact with our trained model, and now we can interactively analyze tweets to get the model's prediction for the sentiment, and this worked really great on my machine. But if we want other people to use our app, we need to make sure that they have access to all these Python packages like Keras, like TensorFlow, like Flask, in order to run our application. So this is what I'm going to show you today. Heroku is a great service for you to experiment with deploying your machine learning models for other people to use, because they build the environment necessary to run your code for you. They build the container to run your code. You just need to give them a list of requirements for them to do so. Second reason is that they're free to a certain degree, which is reasonable for you to start experimenting with creating and hosting your own apps. The prerequisite to replicate what I'm about to show you is to first sign up to Heroku, then download and install their command line interface, and install Git if you don't already have it on your operating system. When you've finished signing up for Heroku, this is the dashboard you're gonna see. And right now we're gonna open a new app. We're gonna give it a name, Sentiment Intensity Analyzer, and choose the region closest to you, and press Create. So a server was initialized for us to host our app by Heroku, and there's also a nice guide here that you can follow step by step in order to help you deploy your app to this server. And now let's see what's required from us in order for the app to work on Heroku. This is a slightly lighter version than what I've shown you last week for the sentiment analyzer, because I got this error message that hosting my deep learning model was taking a bit too much memory, and the pricing to make that work was a bit high, but the concept is still the same, the API is still the same. I'm just using the NLTK Vader sentiment analyzer as the model predicting the sentiment analysis. Okay, so let's go step by step on how to deploy our Flask app to Heroku. So first thing we will need to do is to initialize a Git repository. So we type git init, and we initialize a repository here. We will push our model to Heroku just like we push a repository to GitHub. Next thing we will need to do is to log in to Heroku using the Heroku CLI in the following way. Heroku login, and you press a button and a browser pops up. You press login, and then you're connected with your Heroku account. Now we need to configure the Heroku server as our remote to this Git repository. So we do it with the Heroku CLI. We type Heroku git remote and add the name of the Heroku app that we specified in the dashboard. Okay, so through Git, our connection is set between our local repository and the Heroku app, which acts as our remote host. Now we just need to understand what do we need to actually push to that remote repository. So you just need to push everything that is needed for the code to work except the environment. So if you have the model weights or the pickled instances, you have to push them together with your code. But other than that, you don't have to push anything except additional instructions documents, which I will present right now. So like I've said before, Heroku will take care of creating the container environment for you, but it needs instructions on how to do so. So the first thing Heroku needs to know is what is the runtime. So on what language, what is the coding language of the app, because it can host many different applications from JavaScript, Ruby, and Python. So we need to specify it in this runtime.txt, the name is important, and you need to specify the exact runtime of your code. If you don't know it, you can type in the terminal Python and with a capital V, and to get and fetch the actual version of your Python code. Next, we will need to specify the actual Python packages that we need to run our code. This is already a convention when you push a GitHub repository that you want to share with other people, but right now we actually need it to replicate our code. So you create a requirements.txt, again the name should be identical, and then type in the versions of the packages that you want to install, and you can make it easily with pip freeze pointy bracket and requirements.txt, and this will create this file for you with the exact packages installed on your virtual environment. And one last thing that we should provide to Heroku is this proc file. Proc file is what defines the initial behavior when the server launches. So right when we initialize the server, what we want to do, we want to open a web process. This web process should call on the Python executable and our app Python script, and we need to bind the port for which the web page should be hosted on. So these specific brackets with the $sign is to take the variable from the system environment, and this WSGI is a web service gateway interface. This is the interface on which Flask is based on, so we need to specify it for the Flask app to work without any troubles. And we also need to make these small changes to our previous code. So right now we're taking the port from the operating system environment, and we're specifying a general host, not our local host, with this same port. And that's it. We are set to push our scripts to Heroku, and just to make sure, take a look at this git ignore file to see that we're not pushing anything else other than what I've described so far. Okay, so right now it will look very similar to pushing a repository to GitHub. We do git add everything that is not ignored, git commit added files, and now we push it to Heroku, git push Heroku, which is our remote master. And you can see now is Python app detected, installing Python, the version we specified on the runtime, and now it's installing pip to install all our packages that we've specified in requirements. And this is going to take some time, so I'm going to skip ahead. So it's launching, and our app is deployed to Heroku. We can open our app now. So here is our app. It's hosted on this domain, Sentiment Intensity Analyzer, on Heroku app, and we can try it. Today I had a great day, and now it's between 1 and -1 for this model, so we get a positive tweet. I can maybe say worst day of my life, submit. It's a negative tweet, so we can see it works. And right now everything is hosted remote. It has nothing to do with my personal computer. Everything is here, and now I can send this link to you guys, and you can play with it, and I hope you will enjoy fiddling around with it. Okay, so what's next? How can we take our ML deployment to the next level? Well, Heroku was so convenient in order to construct for us the virtual Python environment to run our code. But we didn't have any say about the hardware requirements. What if I want to run my model on the GPU? What if I don't want access to the web and I want to put my model on a drone that doesn't have access to the internet? So I will need to construct the virtual environment myself with the virtual machine properties of the drivers, of the CUDA and the CUDA to run my code with GPUs. So this is what I'm going to talk about next week, and I hope you will tune in.